In the world of the UFC, where every fighter is battling inside the octagon for fame and glory, there's one name making just as much noise outside of it: Nina Marie Daniele. There's no question that she has the MMA community in a chokehold with her silly interviews and funny skits.
Why do you act like that?
But with fast success comes a lot of doubts from the community. In today's video, we will uncover the controversial rise of Nina Drama. Before we get into the video, make sure to leave a like to help support the channel. Her early days on social media were filled with comedy sketches and lighthearted vlogs, where her infectious humor and relatability earned her a loyal fan base. But before that, Nina made a different mark on the internet. She was originally a Playboy model and even became the 2018 Playboy Playmate of the Year. She openly discussed how her time at Playboy helped her understand the new media dynamics, branding, and how to build an audience on social media.
I spent over 10 years in the fashion industry. This is before social media, before Instagram, and there was a time when girls were coming in with huge followings and they weren't interested in us original fashion models anymore. They wanted the social media, they wanted the marketing, and I had to learn very quickly, okay, this is the new wave, this is what we're doing now, and I had to do it and I had to adapt to it. So that's kind of when I started to learn, like, okay, this is the new TV. You know, this is the new radio, this is the new these are the new outlets and stuff.
After her modeling career with Playboy ended, Nina started posting relatable videos on Facebook and TikTok, capitalizing on the trends of the internet at the time. She quickly went viral, gaining over 11 million views on one of her TikTok videos. And she was able to repeat this by going viral over and over again.
Oh, you're too heavy. I'm gonna have to let you go.
Hey, get out of there. It's construction sign.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
But things shifted when she discovered the UFC. In an interview, she talked about a friend of hers having 2 tickets to a UFC Apex event, and she wanted to tag along because she had never been to a UFC event before. She then reached out to the UFC saying she's a content creator and would love to do content with them, and according to her, she got an extra ticket to attend the event. Side note, it is kind of strange because when you do hear about the UFC just giving away tickets like that, and at the time, she was kind of a nobody on social media with a few TikToks that went viral. After the event, she messaged the UFC saying if they ever needed her for content for the organization, she would be willing to do something for them. A couple of months after her message, the UFC gave her a shot and was assigned to cover the media at UFC 276. The first time we saw Nina in the UFC world was during the UFC Hall of Fame ceremony in July 2022, when she had her first interview with former UFC lightweight champion Khabib Nurmagomedov. She also took her approach for social media with trends and brought them into the MMA world, delivering a skit in her first ever collaboration with the UFC. She asked Daniel Cormier for a napkin to clean her hands, and then Cormier ripped another person's shirt off their body and handed it to her.
A napkin?
Hey. There you go.
This was a viral trend on TikTok at the time, and it was her first viral moment in the UFC. This prompted MMA fans to speculate whether she was an industry plant, being planted in the UFC and allowed to do whatever she wants, as long as it comes with the views. After all, she did get special privileges for her first ever event, with the UFC allowing her to do a fighter walkout and go in-ring for a promo video. It seemed a little weird to fans that the UFC would allow her to have freedom and even connected her with top stars like Justin Gaethje and Khabib. And the thing is, no other media members like Helen Ye, the Schmo, and others got anywhere near the access she got for her first ever event, which furthered the speculation of her being given special treatment by the UFC. But despite all the rumors and drama, during an interview, she mentioned how happy the UFC was with her content because everything she did during UFC 276 went viral on the UFC's social media platforms. And this was the start of Nina Drama becoming who she is now. Nina took her comedic style and brought it to the MMA world, quickly standing out in a space often dominated by more male voices. From interviewing fighters to sparring with them in top gyms, she proved she wasn't just another internet personality. She was here to stay. Of course, controversy wasn't far behind. Nina's unfiltered questions and opinions lit up social media, sparking debates with fans and even industry insiders. While some champion her as a fresh, much-needed voice in the sport, others accuse her of seeking attention and stirring the pot. Love her or hate her, one thing is for sure: Nina is impossible to ignore in the MMA community. Her rise sparked a divide amongst MMA fans, with some calling her a trendsetter and others dismissing her as just a clout chaser. So what's the truth behind her polarizing persona? Is she reshaping the MMA narrative for the better, or is she capitalizing on the chaos? Following UFC 276, Nina continued to build momentum. Her next major interview featured UFC featherweight champion Alexander Volkanovski. In her signature style, she balanced genuine fight-related questions with lighthearted humor that made the conversation engaging for both a fighter and fans.
You're welcome, you're welcome, you're welcome.
I appreciate you name dropping me so you could, not break on.
I did. I used you. I used you to next.
This interview further demonstrated her ability to connect with top athletes and showcased her versatility as a content creator who could cover both serious topics and keep it entertaining. This refreshing format quickly spread across social media, earning her recognition from fans, fighters, and even the higher-ups in the UFC. As her popularity surged, Nina was invited to cover more prominent UFC events, solidifying her place in the MMA community. Nina's content with UFC fighter Sean Strickland has been a defining element of her rise in MMA media. Known for her unfiltered opinions and unpredictable persona, Strickland played a significant role in amplifying Nina's presence within the sport, contributing to some of her most viral content to this day.
No, you are, dude.
Back a little bit. Come on.
Okay.
In the face, Nina. In the face.
No, dude, I can't do it. I can't do it.
Don't be a see, Nina.
What made these moments impactful was the mutual respect between the two. Strickland's frequent appearances on Nina's content, despite his hate towards mainstream media, validated her unique approach to MMA coverage. By showing up and being his unfiltered self, Strickland gave credibility to Nina's platform, proving that her interviews weren't just entertainment, but they also captured the realness of the fighters that she featured. But it didn't take long for her to get into a feud with a fellow MMA reporter for her style of content. A fan stirred up beef between Nina and Helen Ye, causing them to go on a back and forth on social media and even exposing text messages. For those of you who don't know, Helen Ye is a prominent female journalist in the MMA scene. She's more of a traditional journalist and doesn't do comedic content to the extent like Nina. Well, as Nina started gaining traction in the MMA world, it didn't take long for fans to start comparing the two, and it wasn't a good look for the both of them. One fan wrote to Helen saying, "Nina is kicking this engagement farming game, Helen. Step it up a notch." And Helen responded to the comment, writing, "I'm not trying to engagement farm or compete with anyone, so shut the up. I hate social media anyway, and have been focused solely on training. Stop comparing different people." Nina then chimed in and wrote, "People have tried to pit us against each other since the beginning. Helen Ye is an actual journalist and athlete. We both bring something different to the MMA community, and I'm tired of seeing this negative. It's getting old. Put some respect on Helen Ye's name." Everything would have been fine if the interaction ended here, but it didn't. Helen decided to respond with, "It's unreal the amount of people who love negativity and compare us every time I log into this app after minding my own business training. Appreciate your nice words. By the way, I tried texting you months back after you reached out so we can chat in a better setting than online." And later responded to a fan who was excited about the two of them texting by saying, "Haven't gotten a text back yet, but hopefully soon." Nina replied with some shade, writing, "I DM'd you when that troll made up a rumor about us beefing and I didn't hear from you. Then I approached you in person to let you know I reached out and you didn't seem into it. Then you eventually responded to my initial DM, to which I responded, and we exchanged numbers and messaged, and you took a minute to get back to me, so I figured you weren't into it. It's all good, Helen. Never had anything but love. I wish you all the best on your competition. You're gonna..." Nina then leaked the DMs between herself and Helen, showing that she barely gets replies and Helen always has excuses for not responding in time. Helen fired back with a screenshot of text messages, writing, "Respectfully, you just read this 4 minutes ago when I messaged you in July, and I texted you, which you still never texted me back. I had a swim meet in Oregon. When you approached me in person, you blindsided me in public, where there were other people around, being nosy, which I explained to you, and you seemed understanding at the time. I texted you and responded to your DM, but you never heard from you, so I figured you didn't want to meet up. I tried. Well, best of luck to you. Keep too." After these messages were exposed and things were said, we haven't heard from the two of them since. For all we know, they settled this matter privately, or this was legitimately the end of their interactions. Nina's growing influence on the MMA community reached a significant milestone when she revealed that she signed an official contract with the UFC, marking her transition from an independent content creator to an integral part of the organization's media presence. Her contract signing wasn't confirmed until a fan commented, "Bring Ariel back," and Nina replied saying, "I have a contract with the UFC. Y'all are stuck with me for a little." This response from her confirmed that the UFC had signed her to a media deal. However, this would do more damage than good in the public eye. Many people in the MMA community saw this as confirmation that she was indeed an industry plant. And things didn't get any better when Nina Drama tweeted, "Also, today I signed a new contract with the UFC for 2 more years. Thank you, UFC." Now, it's important to note that this was tweeted on June 7, 2024, meaning her first contract was originally signed sometime in late 2022 or early 2023, and her first ever event was for UFC 276 in July 2022, further adding fuel to the fire of the industry plant comments. Many journalists and personalities have been covering the UFC for years, but never got anywhere near the same level of access as Nina did on day one, and then later go on to sign a deal with the UFC a couple of months after first covering the sport. You can see why these industry plant comments were getting so popular. A couple of months after she confirmed her UFC contract, rumors circulated on social media speculating about Nina Drama's status with the UFC, suggesting that she may have been let go. Nina was quick to respond to the speculation directly. In a post shared on social media, she addressed the claim, writing, "I guess the UFC didn't fire me, lol. Thank you, Dana White, UFC," with a picture of her in the UFC office. This response made it clear that the reports were false and that she was still involved with the UFC. Even UFC President Dana White praised her by calling her the John Jones of content, a comparison that highlighted her exceptional talent and creativity. The compliment left Nina stunned, describing it as the best compliment ever. This acknowledgement solidified her reputation as a major presence in the MMA content space. Nina's rise in the MMA world hasn't come without its fair share of drama. One of the most talked about feuds in recent MMA media involves her clash with YouTuber The MMA Guru, known for his bold takes and trademark beanie. The beef started when MMA Guru took a jab at MMA journalist Amy Kaplan during a UFC 307 press conference, accusing the cameraman of focusing on her appearance rather than the fighters. While the internet lit up with mixed opinions, it was Nina Drama's response that made waves. She called the MMA Guru a clout-chasing vermin and accused him of thriving off negativity in the MMA space. She wrote, "I've been keeping my mouth shut about this clout-chasing vermin since I started in the UFC, and he hasn't been able to keep my name out of his mouth, crying about me like a little on the internet. But for Amy, I had to speak up. I may not be everybody's cup of tea. I might be cringe and annoying, and I don't shy away from using my assets for views. They're a great set, and I will use every tool at my disposal without actually desecrating myself for success in my career. But that doesn't make me an indecent human, which is what you like to allude to as of late. This is what makes you so indecent and despicable, so much so that I had to say something. This is the reason why you will never make it out of that stale basement doing internet interview calls for the rest of your life. For donations that don't even cover a premium Zoom account. There's a reason why you had to take on the role of the heel on the backside of the MMA media industry, and it's because you're a rude, vile, ignorant, dusty, pathetic troll that causes more problems than you're worth. Trust me, everyone at the UFC knows who you are because of all the rumors and lies you've spread for clicks and views. You owe Photo Amy an apology, and while you're at it, apologize to yourself for turning out less than human, an excrement stain on society, and now, the reason another person is going to sleep feeling devalued and violated. True to form, the MMA Guru wasn't about to stay silent. He clapped back, accusing Nina of hypocrisy by pointing out her associations with fighters like Sean Strickland and John Jones, who have a past of bad-mouthing women.
Since I started in the UFC, so the start of your career, when you started in the UFC. That's how that works normally. We could change started in the UFC to start of your career, covering MMA. Start of my career covering MMA was 4 years. Grafting, not needing any fighter to collab with the channel, all on my own. You started your career in MMA journalism in the UFC. Isn't that funny? how different we are. You know who your fans are. If you need to get down on your knees to take a picture with a fan, you know exactly who your fans are. Yet you admit here to using your assets for views, and you do that. They're a great set, and I'll use every tool at my disposal without actually desecrating myself. So you'll do provocative things to get attention from a fan base of who? From a fan base of who? On a platform accessible to who? You want to talk about being morally good? Sean Strickland's got a lot to say. You don't seem to have a problem with him.
I don't really watch women's MMA, but if I do, I root for the ugly one.
100%. I'll tell you why. Because, like...
How funny is that, Nina? It's so funny. Just hold back the laugh. Oh, God, it's so funny. He's about to go off on ugly women. This is going to be great for my content. I can make money out of this, so I'm okay with it. You're not a hypocrite, are you? That's crazy.
All right, next question. Do you believe fat shaming is okay if the person you're fat shaming is someone you love?
What a great topic to discuss. I'm sure you did this because you know Sean Strickland would have only nice things to say about fat people. It's so funny when Strickland does it because Strickland gets you 2 million views on an interview. You don't have any problem with Jones. You freaking love John Jones. You know he up his wife, but you freaking love him. What's the problem, Nina? If I would have given you views in the early day, you wouldn't have a problem with anything I say. You guys have no idea how grateful I am for Johnny Bones. He changed my life by giving me 10 minutes of his time. I'm forever grateful. Thanks, Johnny. And because he gave you 10 minutes and made you relevant in the UFC scene, that's all it takes to be a good person to you. Benefit you financially. John Jones up his wife. Want to talk about a stain on society? Anything to say about that, Nina? Seeing as you're so moralistic and amazing and righteous and stand up for what's right. Don't talk about me. Shut the up. Do what Dana tells you to do. Go cover a power slap event. Go interview another fighter that's up a woman. I ain't never done no that's like morally reprehensible.
Nina fired back at the MMA Guru by making a video on Twitter calling him out for begging for donations and called him her biggest fan.
Baby, I didn't call you evil. I called you vile and an excrement stain on society. And all of the negative comments and all of that I'm getting on my page right now, thank you, because it only drives engagement to my page, but you know how that works, because that's your whole MO, isn't it? And that's your target audience. Negative, angsty teenage boys. You get on your knees and you beg for $5 all the time. Don't be shy, we see you do it. I don't have to beg. And I hope you enjoy all of the engagement and the Nina drama effect that I seem to have. It seems to be the most anyone's ever mentioned you, ever. Enjoy it, because it'll be the last. Okay, kisses, baby.
The fallout from the feud divided the MMA community. Some fans saw Nina as a champion for sticking up for her fellow journalist, while others sided with MMA Guru, criticizing Nina for taking things too personally. Now, it's true that Nina drama does praise Sean Strickland, John Jones, and others who have publicly said and have done things worse than the MMA Guru, which made what MMA Guru said in his video more valid. She doesn't criticize those who help her in her career and financially. Would this situation have been different if MMA Guru did content with Nina? It sure looks like it. Nina's impact on the MMA world reached a new high when she was awarded the Personality of the Year award. In previous years, the only winners of this award were Joe Rogan, Daniel Cormier, and Chael Sonnen.
Man, this is cool. Thank you so much. I'm definitely never going to beat the industry plant allegations now, so thank you. Man, I have so many people to thank. For the person who believed in me when no one else did, who gave me a home when I didn't have one and never asked me to change who I was, to fit the mold. You showed me that home is where people accept you for who you are and not what people expect you to be. Dana White gave me a home with the UFC, and the UFC is my family, so thank you, Dana White.
She reacted to winning the award on Twitter by writing, "I'm officially never beating the industry plant allegations, LOL. I want to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for voting for me. I'm so happy and overcome with joy. Yes, I know I have haters, but believe me, I have way more supporters and people who love me. Whether you like me or not, I'm changing the way sports content and entertainment is done. People hate change. People hate what can't understand. Don't be afraid to take risks and go all in on your dreams. Love you guys. Thank you. But despite winning Personality of the Year, Nina announced on January 1st that she will be taking time off of MMA content to focus more on other content. In a post on Twitter, she wrote, "Y'all think MMA Twitter will miss me if I stop making UFC content or nah? 2025, I'll be covering other sports, plus celebrity interviews, so you might see me less." The decision surprised some fans, but some applauded her for prioritizing personal growth and branching out into new areas of content. Nina's brand was built on authenticity, and her moving away from MMA content shows that she wants to continue evolving as a content creator. Whether it's celebrity content, comedy videos, or storytelling, people are definitely excited to see what's next for her. But as of now, it seems that she's still posting content about the UFC, so only the future will tell if she continues to work in the UFC, or eventually branches off to bigger content. And this was the controversial rise of Nina Marie Daniele, also known as Nina Drama. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to our channel. This video took a lot of time and research to make, so your support would mean a lot. Also, make sure to check out our other videos on the screen right now.